All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most common, but maybe most misunderstood roles out there, the manager. We're going to figure out what they actually do, and I'll give you a simple, powerful playbook you can use to master it yourself. Let's get to it. I mean, it's a totally fair question, right? For a lot of us, a manager's day just looks like chaos. A whirlwind of meetings, a mountain of emails, and just constantly putting out fires. It seems so chaotic, maybe even a little mysterious. So, is there actually a method to all that madness? Well, it turns out that feeling of chaos, it's not just in your head. It is very, very real. The famous researcher Henry Mintzberg actually studied this decades ago, and he found that the job is, by its very nature, just fast-paced and fragmented. So this isn't some new problem. It's been like this for a while, and that just highlights how crucial it is to have some kind of framework, a playbook, really, to cut through the noise. Okay, so before we get to the playbook, let's nail down a really simple definition. When you boil it all down, management is really just the process of getting things done efficiently with and through other people. That's the secret sauce right there. It's not about what you can do, it's about what you can accomplish with your team. Okay, so how do the great ones actually do it? Well, here it is. This is the playbook we've been talking about. It's a simple little acronym, POLC. And what it does is it takes all that chaos and boils it down to four core jobs: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Think of these as the four fundamental moves that every single effective manager has to master. Let's break them down. All right, first up, the P, planning. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You can't get where you're going if you don't even know the destination. Planning is all about setting that destination and then, charting the best route to get there. To put it a little more formally, planning is where you're setting the objectives, the what, and then figuring out the course of action to make them happen, the how. Seriously, without a solid plan, a team is just a bunch of people running around doing tasks but with no shared direction. It's just busy work. And that brings us to two words that, let's be honest, people mix up all the time: mission and vision. Think of it like this. Your mission is about today. It's your statement of purpose. It answers the question, who are we and what do we do? Your vision, on the other hand, is all about the future. It's aspirational. It answers the question, where are we going? And you absolutely need both for a killer plan. Okay, so you've got your plan. You know where you're going. Now what? Well, you need a structure to actually make it happen. And that brings us to our second function, the O, organizing. This is where you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together, assembling your resources, especially your people, to bring that awesome plan to life. So, organizing is all about designing that organizational structure and putting the right people in the right places to get the job done. But it's so much more than just a boring org chart. It's about creating a living, breathing system where every single person knows their role and, maybe more importantly, how their little piece of the puzzle fits into the bigger picture. And organizing today looks way different than it used to. It's not just about that old school, rigid specialization anymore. Now it's this delicate balancing act. You need some structure, for sure, but you also need flexibility. So we see things like job enrichment and empowerment, which are really just about giving people more control and autonomy to make their work way more meaningful. All right, so check this out. You've got a great plan. You've got a perfectly organized team. But how do you get them to actually do anything? And not just do it, but do it with passion. Well, that's where our third function comes in, the L, leading. This is the real art of inspiring action. Yeah, leading is so much more than just barking orders from the corner office. It's about using your social and informal influence to genuinely inspire other people. To be a truly great leader, you have to get people. You have to understand their personalities, what they value, what actually motivates them. It's all about connecting on a human level. So why is this leading stuff so ridiculously important? Well, get ready for this, because it's a bit of a gut punch. According to years and years of research from Gallup, a staggering 75%, three-quarters, of employees are either disengaged or actively disengaged at work. Think about that. That means only 1 out of every 4 people is actually fired up and emotionally invested in their job. That is just a monumental waste of human potential. But, okay, let's flip that coin. Look at the incredible potential here if we get this right. I mean, imagine a 70% drop in turnover or a 40% jump in profits. These aren't just fuzzy, feel-good numbers. This is hard proof that great leadership isn't some soft skill. It is a powerful, direct driver of bottom-line results, period. Okay, let's bring it home with our final function, the C, controlling. And I know, that word can sound a little negative, right? A little micromanagey, but don't think of it like that. Think of it more like checking the scoreboard during a game. You got to know if you're winning, right? You got to make sure you're on track. When you break it down, controlling is really just a simple 3-step feedback loop. It's super logical. Step 1, you establish the standards. You define what success actually looks like. Step 2, you compare your actual performance against those standards. And step 3, if there's a gap between where you are and where you want to be, you take corrective action. And again, this is not about pointing fingers or punishing people. It's about course correction. So a really fantastic tool for this kind of modern controlling is something called the Balanced Scorecard. What's so cool about it is that it makes sure you're not just tunnel visioned on one number, like profit. Instead, it forces you to look at your performance from 4 different but equally important perspectives. Financial, sure, but also customer, your internal processes, and this is a big one, your ability to learn and grow. What you get is a much more complete and, balanced picture of how healthy the organization really is. Okay, so we've walked through the whole playbook: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. POLC. But here's the most important part of this whole thing. This framework, it's not just for CEOs and VPs. Let's talk about how this can become your personal playbook for success. You see, the real magic of this framework is that you can scale it. You can use these exact same principles to manage a project at work, to hit your personal goals at the gym, or even to manage your entire career. This is how you get in the driver's seat of your own life. In fact, let's make this super practical. You can use the planning function for your own life, like today, right now, by creating a personal mission statement. It's simple. First, look back at your past successes. What have you done well? What are the common threads? Second, identify your core values. What matters most to you? Honesty? Creativity? And then you just draft a statement that combines those successes and values into a single sentence about your unique purpose. Bam! That's your personal plan. Because ultimately, what this all boils down to is a simple truth. Management is a skill, not a title. It's the skill of intentionally moving from where you are now to where you want to be. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have the playbook, what are you going to manage next?